Welcome to our news today. It's Sunday, November 28th. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kut Kim Cheu, and you're watching on Go Breaking News. Our main headline today is the public brawl between two servants in Verona City who fought furiously in the middle of the market. Two adults spotted each other on the market street and decided to punch one another until the prince arrived. Now, to uncover the truth behind the scene and learn what exactly happened, let's hear from Musreline, who reporting directly from the scene.
Complete chaos in the city of Verona. A fight between two strongmen took place in the midst of a city street in Verona, Italy. The drama began when the two came across one another in the Rialto market at around 1 p.m. in the afternoon. With strong punches and weapons, both men were almost paralyzed after they had been stopped. Andrea Bernardo, a 25-year-old man in a bucket hat, appears from the left and punches another man on the street 1 to 3 times. Paolo Tobias on the right in the black jacket fought back furiously before he was struck again.
It was a horrified scene at the time. I was selling fruits. Two people seemed to be arguing on nowhere, and within a few seconds, they just fought. They fought, and I was so shocked and scary.
I was shopping like I always did around this hour. Then I saw a commotion 100 meters ahead of me. So I thought that must be a fight. So I came, and there it was, a fight. It was pain to my eyes, the servants were brawling, and there were many broken objects all over the place.
Local people kept telling them to stop. Some even attempted to pull one of them out. Unfortunately, no one succeeded. However, not long after the fight exploded, Escalus, Prince of Verona, arrived at the scene, displeased by this constant brawl, and right away stopped the fight.
There were stones, sticks, and fruit. They used them all. That's why no one dares to go close to them. Well, some have tried, but they too were injured. And the rest just thought that it's not worth it to stop them. Because, fight happen a lot around here. And so people just watch and walk away. Basically, the fight is inevitable, and I'm glad the prince had came and stopped them.
I know that it's normal for a fight to happen in the market, but for this time it was quite different, and I think that it would make people even more terrified to walk through this area. Plus, my business would be ruined.
Both men turned out to be servants working for two different feuding families, the Montagu and the Capulet. Rumor has it that both families would start a fight when or wherever they see each other, and it has been going on for centuries. As the two fighters were both severely injured, not to mention the people helping, the prince himself ordered and warned both families to never ever disturb the street again. And as said by most bystanders, this is the most horrifying fight ever. This neighborhood is unlikely to forget the event. I'm Musreline, on Go Breaking News. Back to you, Kim Cheu.
Thanks, Musreline. It seems like this event needs to be criticized theoretically. So right here is our psychological expert, and she joins us now from capital city Phnom Penh. It's very honored to have you here, Mr. Kim, as you might have already seen in the scene earlier. Will you tell us what do you think about this case based on the psychoanalytic criticism?
Thank you, Kim Cheu, for having me today. It's a great honor to be here to sharing my understanding. And based on psychoanalytic criticism, I strongly believe that the battle was sparked by both families' personal instinct, or id. It's implied that at least their id greater than at the time, because it is the primary basic of what a person desires. So if they don't have a good control over it, they might easily cause anything with no concerns. If we take this scenario into account, we can see that they already believe each other to be enemy. So when they meet, they didn't hesitate. They simply just want to express their hate, so they got into the fight. As a result, we can see their childish behavior, even they meet without any problem. It also leads to constant brawl in the street, with no one being embarrassed and without regarding for the consequences. They just demand their gratification of their needs and desires.
That is very insightful. When people comes to fighting, they already stop using their consciousness to think about any consequences. So, move on to the second question. What do you think are the drawbacks of their violence?
Actually, if we talk about the drawback of the violence, it has a serious impact on three things, and the three things include themselves, both family relationships, and society. First of all, I think based on the feud between these two families, that is so deep-rooted that the servants of both houses have learned about it. Thus, the violence has serious psychical injury to themselves, such as blue eye or lost bone in the short term, and it also has a long-term effect on mental and physical health. Second, after this violence, it will add more hatred or anger to the ancient feud between these two families. And besides these two effects, it also makes some public equipment and cause chaos on the street. And three of these effects altogether are the drawback of the violence.
Okay, so based on the situation for both sides, what do you think which one was wrong?
In terms of this situation, I actually can say which is right and which is wrong. They should control their emotion and shouldn't make a violence happen whatever they want. They not only cause the violence but also the insecurity and crime on the street. In short, they both did the wrong thing and they should be punished for what they had done.
That is very informative, Mr. Kim. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And this is the end of our news today. I'm Kim Châu, live from Go Breaking News. See you next time.
Bongo la, bongo cha cha cha, parlami del Sud America. Quello che dicono laggiù, forse è fantasia e nulla più.